Hey everyone, thank you for stopping by Living to Do's review of Winning Time, Season 2, Episode 3, called The Second Coming. Before I get started with this episode, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. So this episode for the most part, I thought was probably not as interesting as the previous episodes, even in the last season. So this is probably my least favorite episode. And that's because it didn't give much. They gave a lot of screen time to Larry Bird. And I don't even find him all that interesting. It started out showing us that in 1981 that the Boston Celtics, Larry Bird's team, won the NBA championship, and apparently that was their 13th win. And he was in the league. That was his second year in the league. First year in the league we saw last year, well, I guess it was a couple episodes ago, that they won in, the Lakers won in 1980, and the Boston Celtics won in 81. They show the Boston Celtics winning the championship. They also show you that Jerry Buss was watching and Magic Johnson was watching. Of course, they're disappointed. They're not the ones that were there. And it showed that the Boston owner and Larry Bird were smoking a cigar and blowing smoke, and they made it seem like they were blowing smoke right in Jerry Buss's face. They showed backstory about Larry Bird. Now, what I don't like is this is about the Lakers. Okay, he played against Larry Bird, great. But I don't care to see this guy in the promos. He needs to get 5 minutes and let this be mostly about the Lakers. But they did show Bird came from a small town in Indiana. They came from French Lick, Indiana. He's a product of a broken home. His parents were divorced. His father seemed awfully proud of him. He kept newspaper clippings of his son's games, and he seemed really proud of his son. Though it showed that Larry was visiting his father, he told his father that he dropped out of college. But later we see he was re-scouted, let's say, by Indiana University assistant coach Bill Hodges, and he went to see him play. I guess he was kind of like stalking him to get him back to playing. And Larry finally goes back to a tryout, and he tries out in jeans and boots. And they say that's what he really tried out in. He's a really cocky kind of guy. I don't know, not really likable. Also, they showed before he became a Boston Celtic player that the owner of the Boston Celtics paid him a visit in his country town in Indiana at his house to get him to enter to sign with Boston. This not the owner, he's the owner. I don't know if I said the coach. He's the owner. And he came out there to personally get him, to talk to him. He wants him to sign. And I don't know how their relationship is or was, but it kind of seemed like Larry didn't care for him. He didn't want to go to Boston. He didn't want to be in the big city. This guy talked him into playing for Boston because, that Boston is where blue collar workers are, and he can relate to that, and he really wanted him. He's going to build a team around him in his position as a corner. Usually teams don't build teams against, or usually NBA teams don't build up a team around a corner position, but since they believe he's as good as he is, they're willing to do it. Though, Boston, this coach, really pushing for him. I think they were really pushing for him because he was white. That's what I'm getting. Boston's very, very white, and this guy, in their eyes, is really good, and he's a white player. And I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know nothing about them. It just seemed like it. So Magic, they show Magic. I guess it's the off season, perhaps, because they show him at a basketball camp, his own basketball camp, and it's his second year in the league. He's only played 2 seasons. I don't know if you get a basketball camp that soon, but the kids are there, and he's imagining that the kids are making fun of him, comparing him to Larry Bird. It's all in his head because they lost. He's just in his head too much. Those kids weren't really saying anything about him. And out there at the basketball camp is a couple other Laker players, and one of them is Michael Cooper. He's helping out. And Michael and Magic, they talk about Michael Cooper's salary increase. And of course, he's excited. You know, Michael was making $35,000 a year, and all of a sudden he's making $350,000 a year, and he doesn't know why, but he's excited. He goes, I do the same thing, and they're paying me all this money. He's going to be a Laker for life. And I wonder if that's what Magic Johnson, he's thinking something. I think he's looking for a commitment. I think by Michael getting all that money, the Lakers are showing him that they are committed to him. And I think even though Magic makes more money, he is looking for more of a commitment with the Lakers. So Jerry Buss is having meetings. He's calling in people, looks like one by one for the most part. And he's calling in Paul Westhead, the head coach of the Lakers, and he wants to find out from Paul what happened. Why did we lose? And Paul tells Jerry Buss that he thinks that what he needs is more authority. Paul is looking for more authority. And then you see Bill Sharman. Sorry, I keep mixing this guy up with Bill Russell. Is telling Jerry that Paul Westhead has too much authority. That's why they lost. And Norm is blaming Magic. He said because Magic didn't pass the ball, and it was an air ball in that last game, and that's why they lost. He even said he thinks Chick Hearn was even open. Norm has all the jokes. So they have the next scene is a staff meeting that Paul Westhead is holding with his staff of people, and he is talking to Bill and other people in the staff meeting, and he wants to get a guy named Kopech on the team. Paul has sought out his friend Mike Thibault to scout this Kopech guy, and enters the meeting was Pat Riley. Pat Riley wasn't invited to the meeting. Pat sees that the meeting's going on, and he comes on in, and Paul Westhead is just telling him, it was an oversight that you weren't invited. And he hears about this Mike Thibault being a scout, and he's also going to be a coach. And Paul quickly tells Pat Riley that, he's not going to replace you. He's going to be a second assistant. But it's just somebody he can trust, and that's why he's going to go with this guy scouting for players, this Kopech guy that he wants. You can feel and see the tension between Riley and Westhead. Something's going down. You're not invited to the meetings. You don't know about this prospect. He's not asked you to do any scouting. Then they cut to another scene where it's Claire and Jerry West talking. And Jerry tells Claire that Magic wants more money. And Claire tells Jerry there is no money. They were banking on winning the playoffs, and that would generate more income. And since they didn't, they're currently in the hole. So you don't know where this money is going to come from. So next we see Paul Westhead. He's talking to this Mike Thibault. He's in a meeting talking about this Kopech. And this guy, they want to get $750,000 to get him on the team from his current team, but they don't really know if it's in the budget. Also, that is just about as much as Kareem is making. And Tebow, Mike Tebow is saying, well, you pay more for people pay more for the Great White Hope. And then as they're talking, Bill Russell, I think his name is, he comes into the meeting and he tells Paul that Jerry Buss has okayed 800 up to $800,000 for this cup check. But they need to do something to sweeten the deal. They need to, they got to trade somebody. And Bill tells Paul that, he thought about Jones, and he talked to Pat Riley about it, and Pat says no about this Jones guy. And so this upsets Paul because Paul didn't really, I guess, care to have Pat involved. So he'd ask Bill, you talked to Pat about this already? And he goes, oh, I just ran into him. And he goes, okay, you know what? We're going to trade Jones. He's basically trading Jones because Pat is against it. It was a quick decision. And so Jones is gone. Okay. So Jones will have to go. Okay, so we see a scene where Bill has Jones, I think his name is James Jones, in his office, and he's cutting him. He's actually trading him to DC. So you hear all this yelling. This guy Jim is livid. He is mad. He feels like he was blindsided. He didn't know that there was talks about a trade. He just bought a home, and apparently he has triplets. And what's he going to tell his wife? He is pissed at the organization. He is screaming. He comes out of the office and he bumps into Pat Riley. And I guess that was his buddy, the assistant coach. And he is mad at him. And Pat didn't know anything about it. This is the first time Pat heard about it. He's like, what's going on? And he was doing it like, basically, what's going on. Why didn't you tell me you were going to trade me? I'm blindsided. I didn't know nothing about this. He is hollering in the office, and he goes over to Westhead's office. It's a closed door. I guess it's locked too. And he's banging on the door. He won't open it. He calls him a coward. As he's leaving, he's yelling and screaming in this office. And he goes, it doesn't even make any sense that you have an English teacher coaching an NBA team, because that's where Paul Westhead is from. I think he was in a college somewhere, and he was asked to be a coach. And so Pat goes to Paul's office and he wants to talk to him. It's locked. He's banging on it. Pat opens it finally, and they're in there talking, and he is mad. What is going on? Paul is telling Pat basically, there should be a pecking order, and he needs to get in line. You are too close to the players. It undermines what he wants to do, and it's becoming a problem. It's all about perception, and they perceive him as being a friend of theirs. They confide in him, and they don't do that with Paul. And so he can't coach effectively. He doesn't know what's going on. That's a problem. He goes, if you can get in line, then we won't have a problem. But he needs him to respect his authority and get in the pecking order, get in line under him. So we have a scene where Magic is at Jerry Buss' house. They're having a little lunch, and they're talking money. Magic's talking a contract. He wants more money. But Buss is saying that they'll have maybe a secret contract because he wants to work with Magic. He considers Magic family, and he's, they want to work together. Magic says he's, basically married to the Lakers. He wants to be on the Lakers for the rest of his life. So Jerry proposes a deal, 25 years for $25 million. They will just tell the press that it's an extension of his contract, and the details will be sealed, because I guess he doesn't want the other players knowing how much Magic is going to make. That will cause a problem. So Magic is basically in. So he goes home and he's calling Cookie. She doesn't care. She doesn't want to be in LA. She's a Lansing girl. She wants to stay in Michigan. He wants to buy her a big old house and they can live well. And she says she's not an LA girl. Well, not then, but now she is. And she's like, she doesn't want to do all this. And he gets upset with her. He goes, I'm married to the Lakers, and anybody I'm with has to be married to the Lakers. He hangs up with her and he sits there and he pouts because he really loves her. And he thinks he's doing all this a great thing and it will help her life. And she's totally included if she just says yes. And she's like, I ain't about it. So Jerry Buss is still working on his team one by one. He has Norm come over to his house for lunch. Norm comes at the door. He's really excited to spend some alone time with Jerry, butter him up and just be cool with him. So he's real excited. They're walking in and Jerry's all, well, Magic's here. Oh, Norm's face dropped. He didn't want to spend no time with Magic because secretly he don't like Magic. In fact, not secretly. Out in the open, he has a disdain for Magic. So he didn't want to spend no time with him. He sits down and Magic is standing up, eating around the plates and all the spread that is out there. And Jerry's like, what went wrong with the team not winning? Norm is saying things like, there was some talk in the press. They mixed up his words. And Jerry's all, they don't mix up quotes. Those are quotes that you said about Magic. And, basically, those were your own words. And those kind of things hurt the team. So we have to be unified. We got to be one unit, move as a unit. Or, I can trade you. Other teams will be happy to have you. And this really humbled poor old Norm. Norm doesn't want to be traded. He loves being a Laker. Norm tells Buss, it's all good. You have a problem with Magic, Buss asks. Just say what it is. Let's be on the open. Let's get it out on the open. So basically they can move forward, be a team, be a winning team. And woo, with his busted face, poor guy, poor Norm. He tells Magic it's all good, but the look on his face, weighed it down. He just looked defeated. He wasn't the winner. He wasn't the number one guy. You're not paid the number one guy, so I don't know why you think that. But he wasn't looked to as a star. He wasn't put on a pedestal like Magic. I think he was hurt by that. You are clearly the number 2 person here. And Magic is the star. And you got to get with it or get out, basically. And that face he had, he was humbled. Cute guy. Great acting by Devon Nixon in this scene. Really, really good. Those facial expressions. He was always the cool cat running around with little one-liners. But when this personally hit him about his time on the team, his position on the team, and another pecking order that he has to get in line, he has been humbled. He's going to do it to stay a Laker. Boy, that was kind of it for this episode. I liked what was going on with Norm. That was the most interesting, I thought. And Pat Riley and Paul and their relationship together. But that was it. Hopefully there'll be more exciting things to talk about next week. So that is it for now. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. I thank you in advance. Check out my channel. I have other videos. I have Swagger about a loosely based TV show about Kevin Durant's life, and Sweetwater about the first black NBA player, and other videos. But that's it for now. I gotta go. I got living to do. Bye.